Alright, so the key to rational equations, that's what this is a rational equation, is we have to get common denominators first. And so the trick for common denominators in a problem like this is to look at your factors of your denominators. We did the same thing with numbers, as it turns out, but we don't speak of them necessarily as factors. So first off, let's factor x squared minus 4. And so hopefully you know that a difference of squares factors into x plus 2, x minus 2, this difference of squares does. Because there's no b term, right? Because these numbers are equal and opposite. So we can rewrite our question now as x over the factored version of that denominator, and then the rest of the problem. So we have, this denominator has x plus 2, x minus 2. This one has just x plus 2. And of course there's no denominator over here. So remember, the common denominator is a denominator that has everything that any one denominator has. So in this case, our common denominator will be x plus 2, x minus 2, because that gets everything that any one denominator has. That's what our goal is. We got to get at least as much as any one denominator has. All right, so what that means then is, to work this problem, I need to get everything else to have that same denominator. So on a problem like this, the way I prefer to do it is by just filling in the missing pieces. Okay, so this denominator has the x plus 2, but it doesn't have the x minus 2, so let's just give it x minus 2. But now we can't just throw an x minus 2 in there and assume math is all happy. We need to also put the x minus 2 in the numerator. And so effectively we're multiplying this term by 1, and that's totally legal. All right, so then over here we don't have any denominator, so I'm going to put x plus 2, x minus 2 here, and also x plus 2, x minus 2 up here. So now everything has the same denominator. So now we have the first term is x plus x minus 2, and so that all belongs over x plus 2, x minus 2. Right, so all I did was combine all of this information. So we had a 1 here, 1 times x minus 2, so that's just x minus 2. And then over on the other side we have 5, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that back into a difference of squares in that numerator. Alright, so now at this point we can actually just get rid of the denominators, because if we multiply both sides by the denominator, then it's going to just go away. So I'm going to multiply by x plus 2, x minus 2 over here, and I'm going to come over on this side and multiply by x plus 2, x minus 2. And so what that does is that cancels all of that, and then on this side that is canceled by all of that. So essentially we get the problem down to where it's just the terms in the numerator. So as you start working these problems, once you get everything with a common denominator, you can really just mentally start focusing on the numerators and don't worry about the denominators anymore. Alright, so down here on the left hand side of our equals, we have x plus x minus 2, or we can write 2x minus 2, and on the right hand side we have 5x squared minus 20. I went ahead and took that 5 times the x squared minus 4. And so now this is looking like a quadratic, so let's get everything on one side and 0 on the other. Okay, so you see once I combined, I have 5x squared minus the 2x here, and then negative 20 plus 2, I combine to get negative 18. Okay, so this quadratic does not actually factor, so we're going to have to use the quadratic formula. And just in the interest of time here for the video, and in fact I would even encourage, if you're already comfortable with quadratic formula on a problem like this, when you're doing the homework, just go look this up on the internet. So I'm going to go show you what I did. So I went to just typed quadratic formula calculator, and this brought up the first result. So my solution is going to be 1/5 plus or minus the square root of 91 over 5. And then the final thing we need to do here is we need to check our answer. And when I say check the answer, in this case I just need to make sure that I don't have solutions that make the denominator 0. So what things make the denominators 0? It looks like if x is negative 2 or 2, we got problems. And since we don't have negative 2 or 2 for a solution, then we're okay. So just make sure you understand that Anything that can make the denominator 0 cannot be a solution. So that's what they mean here when they say check your solutions. So we would enter this in this way. We'll use a comma separated list. So in fact, we would type 1/5 plus the square root of 91 over 5, and then 1/5 minus the square root of 91 over 5.